Hello, fellow nerds and bibliophiles. This is Ridcully's book review. I hope you're having as good a time as I am. It's Saturday night. I'm supposed to be on a diet, and I'm having a really good Saturday because my wife said that I could have one whiskey sour. So, I made one. Makes everything a little bit better in life. Today, we're not really doing as much a review as we're going to be doing a rant. The book that we're going to go over is Zombie Fallout by Mark Tufo, or Tufo. I'm not really sure how you say it. Give a quick impression for a few minutes, and then we'll. I've got pages and pages. I couldn't go hardly one scene through this book without having to stop and write something that was wrong with it. This book is a horrible book, and I'm going to be extra hard on it probably because I love zombies. I love zombie movies, I love zombie stories, the whole zombie genre. It started with Resident Evil. That video game scared the bejeebies out of me, and it was one of those video games that I scared me so bad, yet it became like a personal vendetta and challenge. I had to finish that game, even though it was terrifying me. Ever since then, I've just loved the zombie genre, even before, it was as big as it is now. So I love zombie movies, and I even love the bad ones, but some of them, like this book, get so bad that I can't even stomach it. I can't even. It's some are bad, like Trolls 2 or Highlander 2. I mean, some movies are so bad that they become good, and you can follow them and enjoy them because they're so bad. But this book is just bad in a Rian Johnson, Last Jedi type bad. It thinks it's good. It's going on its own little pathway. It's got its ideas of how the world is or how it should be that doesn't really tie in with reality or how humans are. It's how the author and a lot of the media, I guess, think how life should be or how it is in their world, and doesn't really cross over into reality, and it really doesn't cross over into a zombie apocalypse. I mean, there's a whole bunch of scenes. There's some characters that are just horrible. They're stereotypical soap opera characters. Do not buy this book. I'm turning it back in. I couldn't finish it. It was so bad. I'm turning it back in, getting my money back. Don't buy it. Don't waste your time. If you want a zombie book and you want a good zombie apocalyptic book, go with John Ringo. He's got the Graveyard Skies. I can't remember the name of the series, but John Ringo has a zombie apocalypse zombie series, and he put a lot of work into trying to get a plausible reality and plausible characters and believable characters. Unbelievable characters is what made it so much better. Was believable characters for a zombie apocalypse. Characters that can thrive in peace and in democracy, and they're usually the silly characters that claw their way into power because nobody else wants the job. Just wouldn't be realistic in a zombie apocalypse. The people that are going to be in charge are the people that look around and say, "Oh my Cthulhu, there's a zombie apocalypse going on. We need things done now. We need them done efficiently. We need them done well." And people that are calling for order for the minutes and proper rules of Robert's Rules of Order and stuff like that. There's just no time and no place for them in a zombie apocalypse. That's for a different time. And this book is in a zombie apocalypse with Robert's Rules of Order. And people and characters and their personalities that are right off of soap operas. It's horrible. It's a Cthulhu awful book. Don't get it. From this point on, I'm just going to start going through what I've written. So spoilers from this point on. let's go through and touch base on some of the things that it did. The first thing that he starts out with, and it becomes a reoccurring theme through the book, is poop jokes. I mean, it starts out him stepping in dog crap, and then he runs around for the whole rest of the day with this dog crap, and everybody's saying how he stinks, and it's just like, I don't know of anybody that steps in dog crap that doesn't immediately do everything they can to get it off. I mean, it starts out kind of in a zombie apocalypse moment. There's zombies at the door, and the door, his kids and his kid and his wife come in, and they're holding the zombie out, and he's looking out, and there's a zombie out there, and it's licking the eye hole. Okay, that was kind of a funny joke. The peephole. The zombie licking the peephole. Okay, that was horrible, but at the same time, a little clever. I'll give him kudos on that one. For the inappropriateness and the grossness of it. Then he runs out to close the back door, and he steps in it, and then it just didn't work. I mean, it detracted from the scene, at least to me. And for most people it would, because it's just like, he spends time on this and describing it and going over it and how everybody's reacting to it, and it's just like, there's zombies around. It's not even funny. It doesn't work. And he gets his boys, and he wants to get his boys and his wife's with, and his wife's name's Tracy, and she's one of the most horrible characters. I mean, the rule is, for most of the time, if you want to make money, you don't really have to have a good story. You don't really have to have a good plot. If you have interesting characters, people will forgive a lot of stupidity if you have interesting characters. His characters aren't interesting. They aren't cool. They aren't believable. I mean, I got to the point where I wanted all of them to die. I was cheering for the zombies. And Tracy is his wife. Starts out right at the start. He says, that there's him and his two boys and his wife, and he's all like, he says, I need my 3 gunmen. And I'm like, there's 4 of you. And then, it's obviously, I suspected, and then it's obvious, he doesn't count his wife as somebody that can shoot a gun. Right off from the start, he sets it up as his wife is somebody that's anti-gun, can't shoot a gun, won't shoot a gun, is incapable of shooting a gun, doesn't like guns. And that's fine, but a person like that going to fight zombies with everybody else having guns is worthless. It's a detriment. That person shouldn't even go with. I mean, unless they're a good driver, you give them a reason to go with, or something. But he doesn't. He just, right from the start, he sets up that his wife Tracy, doesn't participate in anything that's going on when it comes to actually accomplishing anything. And in this first scene, she's honking the horn and arguing with him. I forgot about that. Instantly, he's trying to make it that she's the quintessential little boss lady that runs the family and runs his life. And I don't know why people would think that's cute. It's portrayed in the media and in books a lot. It's not cute. It's irritating. And in a zombie apocalypse, it's worthless. Man or woman. Somebody that's not helping and whining and honking the horn and attracting the zombies, that person is a detriment to you. Not cool, not an interesting character. It's a character you do not like. They drive to the Walmart to get his son. And his son's up on the roof. And there's other people up on the roof, and he goes and there's a conversation. He gets a ladder, and it won't fit up to the top. And which is dumb, because it says that there's semi-trucks backed up to the Walmart. Why he just didn't climb up on top of the semi-truck and put the ladder on top of the semi-truck, I don't know. They established that there were semi-trucks there, and then he completely ignores them and just puts the ladder up against the wall. And he's telling his son to come down and going to leave everybody else up there. and it didn't make any sense. Why, you know, it says that there's other people on the roof of the Walmart. He sets the ladder up, tells his son to jump, and that's, you know, all he's concerned about. You know, you come down here. And his son's like, maybe I don't want to come. And he's just like, well, do you have any food or weapons or water up there? And his son's like, not really. You know, they have some Keystone beer. He makes a Keystone beer joke. And some junk food. He's like, well, no tents, no way to live up there. And of course the zombies break out right there. Timing convenience to move his story along, to make his son jump off. Things like that are irritating. You know, when it's so obviously a timing convenience that you just put in to move your plot along, that's weak writing. His book is full of them. His son jumps off, and another friend, which is mentally handicapped, jumps off. But you find out later on that this mentally handicapped kid is super strong and has some kind of special power. You know, some kind of psychic powers. He can see the future. He knew to be up on the roof. He comes with. He's a cool character. He's like the only cool character in the entire thing. And so he comes with, but everybody else on the roof dies. It was irritating. They're running over zombies, and it breaks the radiator, hitting all the zombies. What speeds he was going at to smash the radiator, he must have been going fast. Why didn't he just go slow? I guess if he would have had high centered, I guess it works. But they break their car on the zombies, and they all pile out, and they start shooting. And the zombies are getting closer, and the zombies are about to overrun them. And then the zombies see a couple more guys, and they just turn and leave. And he establishes that the reason they turned to the left is because the zombies figured it wasn't worth it. There was easier prey. Yet the zombies turned and left and chased the other guys when they were pretty much out of ammo and right before they overran them. You know, I couldn't help but think when I was reading it, why did the zombies quit? Why did they decide then, when they were about to win, when they were within a few feet of having overcame them, that they turn around and chase guys 100 yards away in the trees? The story is stupid. It doesn't make sense. Another example, when they left the house to go get this son at Walmart, they locked a couple of zombies in the garage. And they come back, and they apparently stop the car in front of the house and are in the house, and he tells his one son to go into the garage and get him something to drink. And then he freaks out, realizing that they had left a couple of zombies in the garage where his son was going to go get something to drink. And he's still got, the author goes through, I should say his name, Mark, goes through and says how he still stinks of the dog crap this whole time. Between the start of the zombie apocalypse, going to the Walmart, saving his son, coming back, he still reeks of this. It gets annoying to read about. He jumps up and he slams into the wall and he trips and he falls, and all this scenario to try and run outside to save his son. And I'm sitting there thinking, wouldn't a normal person yell, you know, their son's name, stop, you know, yell the instructions? I'm pretty sure that the speed of sound is still a lot faster than you can possibly run down the hallway with your crap covered foot. But he doesn't do that. He has Mike, the father, running and falling into the walls and tripping and trying to get outside to save his son from the zombies he forgot about in the garage. Why his son would have forgot about the zombies in the garage too, I don't know. Why everybody else forgot about the zombies in the garage, I don't know. But anyway, his son isn't there. You know, it's a stupid scene to get it set up. His son doesn't open the garage. Then they all decide that to take care of these zombies in the garage, they're going to line up firing squad style, everybody with their guns, and then open the door. And when these two zombies come out, they're all going to start firing at them. You know, and this is another thing that really irritates me, is when people that obviously don't have knowledge of guns or in shooting write about guns and shooting, and they're pulling their information and they're setting up their stories from different television shows, different media reports, you know, from the guy in the bar that doesn't know anything more about guns and shooting than they do apparently. And it's the fault of the, you know, a lot of our TV shows and our movies. They're zombies. You know, he follows the basic rules. You shoot them in the head. Why would you line 6 or 7 people up to open the door and shoot at the zombies? And they do, and they're talking about how the limbs are falling off and they're shooting them in the bodies. Why? You know, open the door, bam, bam, both of them in the head. I mean, they're not, it says they're shambling and they're slow, they're not running, they're not dodging. I'm going to take a second. I'm going to link a picture. I bought my wife a .22 rifle. And granted, it's not a crap rifle. It's a nice rifle and it's got a scope. But she had never shot before. She's from Brazil. I bought her a rifle, a .22 rifle, and taught her to teach her the basics on safety and to have a basic knowledge of how to use a gun. I took her out, and the second time I took her out, we set up a target, and I'm going to put the picture of the target in this video. And there are 5 different groupings on this target at 90 feet, 30 yards. This is the second time my wife has been shooting. The 4 in the corners are 10-round clips. She shot 10 times. The one in the middle was the last one that she did. It was where she had been practicing the most. She had zeroed in. It's 25 shots at 30 yards. Now take a look at this. Okay, my wife, the second time shooting ever with a little .22 rifle, was able to put 25 rounds in the middle of the target at 30 yards and put all of them right in the same holes to the point where you could cover all 25 shots with a quarter. It's not as hard as they make it. And for him to line everybody in the family up to shoot at the zombies when they come out and they're blowing limbs off and using shotguns and rifles and a 30-06, it really frustrates the hell out of me when people that don't know anything about guns write stories about guns. They do a zombie apocalypse and there should be rules against it. If you don't know anything about the genre, don't just take all your source material from the TV. Go do a little research. Heaven forbid you actually go out and try some things yourself. At least talk to some people. Go on YouTube. It's amazing how many videos on YouTube will show you the amazing talent and amazing abilities of people in anything. You want to change the brake pads on a bike? You want to build a 5-story building? You want to do advanced calculus? There is a video on YouTube that will teach you, a real person really doing it. Spend a little time doing research. Sorry, that's the end of that rant. But yeah, it's just stupid. Repeated moments of dread. He does this through the entire book. He would have Mike stop and go through a scenario, and he'd paint it in the book of this moment of dread and who, almost like an old black and white horror movie, you know. I hear a noise, is there somebody around the corner? And then half the time they're a joke, half the time it was something unassociated. You use something too many times, it no longer works. It becomes cliche, boring, and irritating. And that's exactly what he does in this book. Continually building up scenes of dread and having flashbacks of dread with his family, with his zombies. 1 or 2 is good writing. Repeating them constantly gets to the point where, like, yeah, move the story along. They decide and they block in the little subdivision that they're in. It's a walled community. They turn over some vehicles on the entrances. They got a few people living. They clean it all up. They create like a little fort in this walled and gated community. And they decide that they're going to go to, I think it was Lowe's or Home Depot or someplace, to get some building materials to try and help build some guard towers and to secure the community. And when they get there, they go through another gross scene on the dock with zombies and more horrible shooting with zombies. But they get the keys and they go to open the semi-truck. And for some reason, as soon as they finally get to the front of the semi-truck, nobody says hi or nobody notices before that there's two guys sitting in the semi-truck this whole time. They were trying to get the keys, running around the dock, running around the parking lot. And the guy comes out with a minigun, a rotary barrel minigun. And the other guy comes out with a saw, a machine gun. And as they come out, they've all got guns, and they're just like, oh, we're outmatched with guns. You know, we can't possibly win this fight. It don't matter if you're in an Abrams tank. If you expose yourself outside of the tank and somebody shoots you in the head with a .22 pistol, the tank doesn't matter. You know, these guys coming out with guns, he set up a scenario for some reason that they're outgunned, so they're not even going to try. I need another drink. Illogical, stupid. They have a confrontation, and some of their friends back on the loading dock use laser sights to scare the guys away. And this is a zombie apocalypse. You don't leave an enemy at your back. They've had this confrontation where the guys threatened them with guns, they've threatened the guys with guns, and then they just leave. No. That guy, if you scared him away with the laser things, would find a position of safety, turn around with that minigun, and kill you all. But for some reason, the guys in the book and so many of the different genres on TV think that you can have a confrontation in a zombie apocalypse with no repercussions. You know, there's no police to call, there's no court systems. You're back to a tribal community and you've threatened and made enemies. You don't let them live. But they do. Of course they do. They let the guy with the saw leave, and for some stupid reason, the guy just doesn't get around the corner of the wall, turn around and mow them all down. Whatever. Stupid writing. Unrealistic. This guy has no idea how human nature would really work. You know, I guess you could forgive him one time, because there's a lot of people that actually do think that way. I seriously doubt the guy with the minigun would think that way. I think the guys that might let him go could think that way, but they wouldn't be alive to learn the lesson. But anyway, moving on. Tactical situational awareness. These guys suck. They go to fight with one clip. Okay. And it turns around. That night, the guy with the minigun and a bunch of his friends come and they attack the compound. Why they're attacking the compound is stupidity, but that's actually believable because they had the confrontation earlier in the day. The guy with the minigun, I can't even remember his name. It doesn't matter. None of these guys are worth remembering. Come back with the miniguns and they attack the compound. And they enter the compound and come up close. It doesn't really say why other than they want revenge. But if they wanted revenge, why wouldn't they have just taken it earlier in the day? It doesn't make sense. It's a stupid plot. It's a stupid story. But Mike runs out and he's got this M16 machine gun. And he goes to fight him and they get in the fight. And he starts shooting the guy with the minigun and he actually shoots him in the leg. And then he runs out of bullets and he's like, oh no, we're pinned down. The guy with the minigun, which goes through a lot of bullets, has apparently been shooting thousands and thousands of rounds and still has more bullets. Not realistic, stupid writing. But anyway, he does. He has the bottomless cartoon gun. Has him pinned down. And Tommy comes and saves him with a bow and arrow. I don't know if it's supposed to be cute or funny. You get to forgive Tommy a little bit because you find out that Tommy hears voices in his head. It has some kind of psychic ability. So you can kind of forgive Tommy, and Tommy's actually a likable and interesting character. But for him to run out with his M16, and it says that after he was shooting at the guy with the minigun, that, oh my goodness, I'm out of bullets, I only brought one clip. It's just kind of like, you know what? I hope you die then. Like I said, the situational awareness of a baby duck smoking pot. I mean, this is the hero of your story. I think he's an idiot. I hope he dies. And his wife, which you've already established is somebody that does nothing but browbeat him. It's irritating. Oh, and when they get back, you know, the hair, Tracy, did I say Tammy? Sorry, Tracy. Tracy immediately starts browbeating the Tommy, the mentally slow kid that went out and saved him with the bow and arrow, you know, took a weapon. Where'd he get a weapon? It's a zombie apocalypse. You want him to stay home without a weapon? What kind of help are you going to be? Whatever. You know, I hope she dies too. Oh, and the guy, you know, Tommy's always running around eating snack foods, and they drop M&Ms all over the ground. And Henry, their dog, runs around eating all the M&Ms. And kind of a side note, one other thing, I'm just like, does the guy not have dogs or not care, or does he just let, like, his dog being sick all the time eating chocolate? You know, idiotic writing, idiotic story. It's like, so apparently Mark Tufo doesn't know anything about guns. He doesn't know anything about human nature. He definitely shouldn't be writing about a zombie apocalypse. And he doesn't know anything about dogs, or else he feeds his dog chocolate and doesn't mind the repercussions of that happening. Whatever. After the attack, you know, the guy with the minigun had his leg blown off and they capture him. And Jed, the leader, actually does have an interesting moment where he's just like, we need to set up a government. There's no police to call, there's no government to call, we need to set one up. So Jed's trying to set up this government, and like I said, it's a good idea. But you don't have time in a zombie apocalypse. It's a zombie apocalypse. You don't get the luxury of Robert's Rules of Order. You don't have a police force. You don't have a military. You are in tribal rule. Elect a chief, have a council. You know, do something simple, something quick. You don't try and do a trial and bring a jury in. I mean, really every single person there is a victim. You know, it's just, I can understand what Jeb was trying to do, and as a leader, something that should be thought of. But as a smart leader, it's also something that you need to scale for the situation. It's a zombie apocalypse. I guess is what he was trying to avoid, is just somebody shooting. The guy's name was Durgan. Somebody's shooting Durgan and establishing, you know, a fearful community. That's actually the way most tribal communities are established. You know, family ties, community ties. There's a chief, there's a leader, there's a matriarch. You know, their word is law. Something that needs to be built up and into, or taken and established. Whatever. Mike looks at some of the guys and says, could you really go up and just shoot him in cold blood? Could you go up and shoot Durgan in cold blood? That would lower yourself to his level. You know, here's another one of the scenes where I want Mike to die. It's like, no, you're not lowering yourself to his level. You're doing what has to be done. You're removing a huge threat and a psychopath and a murderer from out of your community in one of the only ways that you have. What are you going to do? You've got everybody taking turns guarding the wall against the zombies. Are you going to set up some kind of... Are you going to take this time to build a jail and put guards on Durgans? He's going to take resources and food from this community that there's a good chance isn't going to survive. To make a statement like that is just ideological stupidity. I mean, I'm sure that there are probably a lot of people that think that that is the morally right thing to do. No, that is the morally wrong thing to do. That is the stupid thing to do. That is destroying and hurting you, your family, your community, thinking like that. You take a boat, you shoot Durgans or whatever you want to quickly establish for your now tribal community. You no longer have a nation or a world in this zombie apocalypse, and move on. Griffin did want to put heads on the pikes from the guys that attacked the community. Another, something that they needed to talk about as a community. People coming up to a village or a compound that has heads on pikes, that's threatening, it's a warning. You'd have to debate on the situation, the message you wanted to send for people seeing it. Something that they would need to talk about, but I did find it amusing. The next thing they do is they want to go and raid the National Guard Armory. They hit volunteers, and they're wanting to go and raid the armory for the concertina wire that's around the armory. Fine, that's a good idea. But at no time did anybody stop and question, maybe we should just move our community into the National Guard Armory, or at least go look at it and see if its defenses, if the concertina wire and the fences and the walls or whatever it has, never explains why they don't even think of that as a possibility. In my mind, the armory would be the place to establish your community, not necessarily the subdivision. Or if the subdivision is superior to the armory, you really need to stop and say why, rather than just let's go steal the concertina wire off of that other fortified place and put it in our fortified place. If you have a place to move to that's superior defense and superior for your zombie apocalypse, move. Take a look, maybe at least explain why you're not going to the armory. They go to the armory, and there's a tweaker with them that gets bitten because he's running around being stupid. And there's this girl that's with. And after the tweaker, I can't remember his name, doesn't matter, he gets bit by a zombie and gets his ear bitten off. And they shoot the zombie, and he's screaming, and Jen's like, let's try and save him. And I did wonder, you never showed, even trying to save somebody that was bit. They're just jumping right into, they heard it on TV that once you're bit, there's no possible safety. That would be dumb to believe. You would still try it at least once. And if somebody got bit, I would be carrying around a bottle of iodine or alcohol. So if somebody got bit, splash that on, try and kill the virus. Try. But they just shoot the tweaker kid that gets bit. And if it had been established that there was no hope, that they had already tried these other things to save somebody that was bitten, I could go with it. But they just shoot him because the TV said that anybody that's gotten bit would turn into a zombie. If you got time and you got the ability to try, you should show in the book that you try, not just believing it off the TV. That's stupid characters. I mean, somebody that believes everything they hear on TV, it's like Abraham Lincoln said, you shouldn't believe everything you hear on the internet. And as they leave, there's thousands of zombies that are just watching them. And it creates a really weird scene where it kind of shows that the zombies have some kind of organization with them, some kind of communication, and you don't know what it is. I mean, you do find out a little bit here, because I guess I should go back a little bit. There was this one zombie, this female zombie with black hair that nods at him. So it kind of indicates that she's like the leader of zombies and has some kind of connection, some kind of communication, so these zombies aren't normal. And they tried to kind of set that up with the zombies that left and chased the two guys in the woods, even though they wouldn't have. But as they're leaving the armory, there's thousands of zombies just lined up. And then they pull away, and the zombies start following them. And Mike's like, let's stop. We shouldn't go back. We're going to lead all these zombies back to where we live. If the zombies can communicate and they knew you were at the armory, why wouldn't they already know where you're going to live? His plot and his idea is just idiotic. It wouldn't happen. And it goes through on how they were talking about the backstory for Mike's backstory, and it says how part of the reason that they ended up where they are, or they moved to Colorado, is Tracy's dad got sick, and she came in and she says, Well, I'm moving to Colorado with or without you. You decide. So he's already established that Tracy is worthless, and now he's established that she's a domineering bitch. What? I'm trying to figure out. I was honestly trying to figure out if he was wanting to make us hate Tracy. Right there in the book, she just walks in and says, "I'm moving to Colorado with or without him." No, that's not how real relationships work. Real relationships work when somebody walks into the room and says, "My dad's sick. I really need to go and be with him in Colorado. What can we do?" Either partner to walk in and say, "I'm leaving with or without you," that's not a relationship. Well, I guess it is a relationship. It's an abusive relationship. That's not any type of loving or caring or real relationship that you would want to be in. Why he's establishing that this is their relationship, I don't know. It's a bad example of what a real relationship should be. Makes you hate both characters. Her for being a bitch, him for being a moron. At this point in the book, I wanted them all to die. But anyway, the kids go to get the brother, Paul I believe his name is, and his wife, Erin, is up in the attic shooting at zombies with her pistol, and it says how she's just shooting into the crowd. Okay, it's pretty well established you have to shoot the zombie in the head. Why she's wasting ammo just shooting into the crowd, I don't know. If she's not got the ability to shoot him in the head, fine. I mean, it started out the book with the zombie licking the peephole in the front door. I mean, it isn't like you can't get close to the zombies. I mean, it isn't like they have all the ability to dodge or keep away. Why she's just shooting randomly from the attic window. I mean, they're trapped up in there, but it's a stupid plot. It's a stupid story, or a stupid character. You'd be an idiot in a zombie apocalypse to just shoot randomly into a crowd unless you had unlimited ammo. Kids get zombie away. Then Paul says, "No plan? Let's get back in the house." They lead the zombies away from the house so they can get them and leave. And Paul comes out and that's what he says. You don't got a plan? Well, we better get back in the house. Why would you get back in the house? The kids who came to save you, get in the damn car and get out of there. Stupid story. Unbelievable. Why these people would be acting like this? If they are like this, leave them in the house. Yeah, Paul and Erin, as they're leaving, look at the house and say, "We're never going to see this place again." Why? Once you leave, the zombies will be gone. It wasn't hard to drive up the first time. If you need to come back, just come back. Whatever. Oh, and it's already established that the zombies are shambling zombies. They're not the fast 28 days later zombies. And Brandon was the one that went and drew all the zombies off so they could come out of the house. And as he comes back, he's being chased by the zombies, and he's barely staying a couple of feet ahead of them. He can't even turn around and shoot. They're hot on his heels. They're closing in on him. Okay, he set up the rules on how the zombies move, and then he walked all over them. How Brandon got himself surrounded by zombies that can only shamble when he's running around in open streets. I'm hoping Brandon dies. Actually, so I'm hoping dies is who is it? Mark Tufo. Mark Tufo is who needs to have the zombies come and chase him down. For being such a horrible author. Oh, and when Brandon comes running back, they have the big old traditional scene of trying to get the keys, trying to get the car started. Why didn't you have the keys and the car started, driving already, and he could just run in and jump in? Why? Horrible story. Stupid story. Cliche. Why take Justin back without trying to clean the wound? Oh, yeah. As they're driving away, Zombie reaches in and scratches Justin. They've already shot the tweaker automatically. They hide Justin and take him back. Once again, they made no attempt to clean the wound, to try and disinfect it, to pour alcohol on it. He's scratched by the zombie. They just killed the other guy because he was bitten. Had his ear ripped off. The movie, or the television station had said anybody scratched or bitten automatically turns. Whatever. When they come back, he's lying down in the back hiding, and they lie to the guards at the compound saying, "Well, he drunk a lot last night." You left a little bit ago. He saw you a little bit ago. Now you're coming back, and he's whatever. I mean, that's actually within their own believable of stupid kids. But for the guards to let him get by with that, you know, why would they lie? Why don't you just say he's just sleeping? Or not even tell anything. Just say, let us in. You know, have you established why these guards can stop you from coming in? I mean, he might have, but I sure missed it. And then it starts a third story, a third plot story, where Nicole and Tracy, well, the kids are out trying to shave Paul, and Mike is out at the armory. Nicole and Tracy decide that they're going to go save their kids. And it goes through this whole scene on how they tell each other that their guns are loaded. Neither of them know how to load a gun. It's in a zombie apocalypse. You're about to leave your compound, and so you're not embarrassed. You just pretend that the other person that doesn't know anything about guns has a loaded gun, and you don't. Okay, these two deserve to die for being so stupid. And then he sets up that Nicole, the daughter, is this small woman, but she makes up for it with this loud screaming voice. So you set up the character, the wife is an unholy bitch, and the daughter gets her way by screaming. They're going out after their kids, and they don't know how to use guns, and they're too stupid to ask for help or to take the time to learn. But they will scream and get their way. Whatever. They go to the gate, and the gate guard is named Igor, and he tells them it's dangerous to go out. Tracy is indignant and says to him, is that what you told the guys? So once again, she's compounded her stupidity by not being capable of going out, not going out. And, you know, if she's been established this way, so she's probably portraying herself this way. If she gets a warning, she just becomes indignant, and that's going to help with the zombies outside. Oh, and then it says she can't drive a stick shift, so she keeps killing the car. You know, they're leaving in this car that's going 10 feet at a time and stalling. 10 feet at a time and stalling. 10 feet at a time and stalling. I mean, the scene of these two, you want them out of the compound so that they will get eaten. It's just horrible. Oh, and then once they get out of the compound, they don't know where their kids are, so they decide to go to a gas station and get cigarettes. And then there's a convenience that the zombie in the gas station is now the zombie of the woman that tried to break up her marriage with Mike. And since it was established before that neither of them knew how to load the guns don't get shot, she puts the barrel of the gun in the zombie's mouth and holds it off like it's, you know, some kind of leash, and tells Nicole to look around for something to kill the zombie with. Till finally the zombie gets by and she beats her in the head. Ugh. Conveniences, stupid conveniences. Builds up characters. I don't know why you're supposed to be engaged with these characters. You really just end up hating these characters, hoping that the zombies will kill them. Finally, they all get back, and they go to talk about things, and it says that Tracy just gives Mike a hard look. Well, Mike just throws his hands in the air. She apparently doesn't want to talk about it. Women are a complete mystery to Mike, so he keeps his mouth shut. That's an abusive relationship. Switch that around. Tracy came back, and Mike gives him a hard look. She throws her hands in the air and says, well, men are a complete mystery. I'm going to keep my mouth shut. Either way, you got a partner that gives you a hard look and scares you so much that you're not even going to ask. That's the look saying, don't even talk to me. That's an abusive, horrible, horrible relationship. If you're in a relationship with somebody like that, get out. If you're in a relationship like somebody with that and you're in a zombie apocalypse, good news. They're going to get eaten or throw yourself to the zombies. Either way, it's going to be better. Mike wants to yell at Paul for not having made it to the compound when the zombie apocalypse started. Why? Why would Paul have known or have planned or been able to grasp that? Or why was it so established that Paul had to come back to the compound? Why was it so wrong for his kids to go after and get him? Whatever. he goes off track and does some scenes when he's wanting to yell at Paul, and talks about an impotency scene in college. God, I think, was that Ryan Johnson that wrote this book? No, it was Mark Tufo. You know what? Mark Tufo and Ryan Johnson make Robert Jordan look like a freaking genius when it comes to writing. I mean, I was so mad at Ryan Johnson lately, but Mark Tufo, you're right there in the same boat with him. They have a meeting, and there's Tim Tinkle, and who was the other guy? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But apparently they go to the meeting afterwards, and Mike's wanting to tell everybody, hey, I think the zombies are coming. Well, duh, it's a zombie apocalypse. There's everywhere. They're going to find you. They're going to come eventually. But for some reason, they've set up Tim Tinkle as the security advisor for there. And it's quintessentially the Magnum Force, Dirty Harry, walk in, just starts yelling at you for no reason, is mean to you for no reason. Him and Mike actually get in a fist fight. And you're like, why would this guy be in any position of authority whatsoever? Why would anybody listen to him? Why did he get there? Who put him there? He just brings in this one guy in this one scene so Mike can have this argument and a fight with him. And I don't think he doesn't show up anywhere else in the rest of the book. He doesn't do anything in the rest of the book. He's just there for convenience for Mike to have a fight with him. A fight that doesn't make sense, doesn't move anything along, just leaves you confused. It's horrible, horrible writing. Oh, and then right after it, they're talking and they say that Tim Tinkle is brain dead, and he just laughs. It's just like a completely different reaction than what he had with Mike. Whatever. Jordan, the one kid that was scratched, they're waiting to see if he's going to turn into a zombie. Mike comes into the room and says, everybody out. Why he would say everybody out is kind of rude. I don't know if that's a father's prerogative or not. Tracy turns on him and says, you just want to shoot him, I'm not leaving. Then she leaves. Why Mike just wants to shoot him, or why she thinks Mike wants to shoot him, is never established. He doesn't want to shoot him. I guess he's prepared to if he turns into a zombie. Why Tracy would be such an incompetent moron as to say, you only want to shoot him. He might be a zombie. You know what? Mike, you're an idiot. Leave Tracy in there with him. If he turns into a zombie, bonus. Mike decides he's going to make the house zombie proof in case the zombies come in, and Tracy and Nicole get into a fight with him that he's ruining the property value of their home. I would leave. Mike, just leave. No, Mike, you deserve him. You're an idiot. When he's getting it, the zombie leader from before shows up, and it was a stupid scene how everybody stops working and they sound the alarm because one zombie showed up a couple hundred yards away from the walls. It's like, I would imagine there would be lots of zombies within sight of the walls. But anyway, one shows up. It does kind of make it work because it establishes that she's got psychic powers, and she mind controls Mike to come over, and she kisses him. Zombie bringing her over, gives him a chance to leave, and kisses him. Whatever, earlier on, he didn't kill her. Now she's saving him. I kind of believe it. That she's a sadistic, weird, sick person who wants to kiss him as a zombie. That's okay. I kind of give you that one. That was a new twist. But anyway, after that, he goes back in the compound. He gets better. They go to the walls, and the zombies start coming. And it says that he spent 4 hours straight shooting. There's 14,400 seconds in an hour. I can shoot 2 rounds a second. Let's not even go that level. Let's say that these guys are, they're taking it slow. You're shooting like once every 5 seconds or so. If you go every 5 seconds, I figured it out, that would be 2,880 rounds. You got at least 60 people shooting that many rounds for the last 4 hours. 172,800 rounds. They said they got ammo for a few days. How many freaking zombies are there? I mean, unless you've got over 1 million zombies, you're fine. I mean, in the first 4 hours, you've shot nearly 200,000 rounds. and you're about to be overran, well, guess what? If there's that many zombies, you're going to get overran. You know, I don't believe that you got that much ammunition. I can't believe that you've already shot. Stupid logistics, stupid story, stupid plot. You know, they're trying to reinforce the walls, and I couldn't help but think, why didn't you get a tractor? You know, a bulldozer. I mean, heavens, just get in a big bulldozer and start driving around the compound, running over the zombies. You know, while you're there, scoop it out and make a moat around your compound. That makes your wall bigger. Oh, and not only that, it cleans the zombies out away from the wall. Whatever. Nobody even tries. Nobody even suggests it. Nobody even thinks about it. They're just shooting hundreds of thousands of rounds and still about to be ran over. Oh, and then they go to bed that night while the zombies are there. So apparently they weren't in too much danger. Actually says women rule the roost. Men are just figureheads for any successful union. You know what, Mark Tufo? I hope you're not in a relationship like you write about. And I hope that these aren't really the thoughts that you have on what's a healthy relationship. Because if they are, you probably need to go and see a domestic violence counselor. Yeah, after all of this, it says, during the night, the zombies made it to within feet of Babylon. What does that mean? I took that to mean that somehow they've been firing these hundreds of thousands of rounds between everybody in the compound, taking turns at the walls while some people go to sleep for the night. And the zombies have almost made it to the walls. You know, they have the population... you know, that they have half the population of a medium-sized city like Salt Lake or Las Vegas attacking their gated community, apparently. He does more poop smell jokes. He did that when they went for the... hated it. They became nauseous. Oh, and then they stopped shooting the next day because there's getting so many bodies at the walls, the zombies are going to be able to climb up and over. So they just stopped shooting. You know, don't shoot any of the zombies a little farther away that aren't up to the walls yet. Tracy explodes at Mike again and punches him. That he wants to, you know, fortify some kind of vehicle and leave. I'm not even... I've already said that how horrible their relationship is. He jumps when somebody shoots a gun 100 yards away. Didn't they establish that they shot over 100,000 rounds around the entire compound? Why would you be jumping at this point? If you're jumping at guns being shot 100 yards away after all this, you've lost it. You know, I guess that would still be good. You still have your hearing. You still can react. I imagine that many rounds, it would just be background noise for any normal, realistic person. He goes to the back of the wall, and the zombies, where they can't see over the wall, have left. It's somewhat open. And he yells at the guard for not telling somebody that they'd been migrating. Why he has the authority to yell at him, why it was the guard's duty, never established it. He just walks up, sees it, starts yelling at the guard. Oh, and he climbs up in his guard tower and scares the guard. How a guard doesn't know, or why Mike didn't yell, whatever, unrealistic scene. Normal people wouldn't act like this. Normal people wouldn't react like this. But once he gets up into the tower, turns out that Fritz had went to tell him, so Mike gets mad. Another story of convenience, another character of convenience, goes running off to Fritz's house to yell at him and to ask him, why haven't you already told us? And he gets to Fritz's house and has this scene where there's this bear. It turns out that there's this Rottweiler trapped in the house trying to get out, and he has this dread scene where he drops his gun in the dark, sets up the quintessential scene in stupid movies with stupid horror people. Well, stupid horror movie with stupid people, on how they can't get the gun. Just pick it up. Look around the corner. Don't reach around the corner and then look. Whatever. Sets up this scene where Mike is just being stupid. I mean, you picture it in your head. You just want to go up and kick Mike in the head for being so stupid, you know. Look around the corner. No zombie, pick up your gun. Move on. But he can feel the floorboards thumping. He opens the basement door and then he can hear the loud music. I don't know if it's possible to have music so loud that you can feel it through the floor and not hear it. I don't think that's possible. That doesn't make any sense to me. But anyway, it does in this book. It does in this world. And it turns out that Fritz, the guy that he conveniently was supposed to go and tell him, has set up is a rapist in a sex dungeon in his basement, and he's got a zombie down there, chained up and ball gagged and all kinds of things, and he's in a cat suit, and that's pretty well where I gave up on the book. Turned this book back in for money. I'm not going to pay to have this book in my collection. I don't want it on the shelf. I can't even finish the book. You know, I'm going to make up the story so that it ends. The ending of the book that happens in my mind so that it can be somewhat saved is the zombies break down the fence, eat every character, every person in that compound, and they aren't even worth becoming zombies. They're just food. I like the zombies. I like the zombies' marital and group and family relationships better. I like their humanity more. I like their intelligence more than any character in this book. The best way it could possibly end. I have no idea what the ending really is. I'm never going to know what the ending really is. There is not enough whiskey sours in the world to make this a good book. I mean, wow, seriously. Well, I could be wrong. If anybody has read this book and has a different opinion, or can point out to me some of the things, why it is a good book, I'd be interested to hear. I think that if you think this is a good book, please give me warning. I'm going to need more than one whiskey sour in order to have that conversation. And then I'll probably block you, because I wouldn't want to be dumber after every conversation we have. I'm being a little facetious. I actually do welcome critical comments, and call me whatever you want. I'm a lawyer. I get paid to be called horrible things. Actually, I kind of enjoy it. And on the other hand, if you agree with me, tell me what you think. If you managed to make it through the book, if somebody wants to tell me what the ending is, no, don't tell me what the ending is. I prefer my ending. But that's it for this episode of Ridcully's book review, or I should say, this one is Ridcully's Rant.